All right, so welcome back to the channel. This is Kevin.
I'm Tarsha.
And this is Conversations with the Crawleys. We have conversations about faith, family relationships, and we do some recaps around here, some commentary, some conversations about shows that we're watching. This one is all about Alexis and Justin of Married at First Sight in San Diego. So you're here, hit the subscribe, hit the like, request notifications, and share. And we'll see you in the comments.
You was doing so slow this time. I was like,
you gotta flow.
I was jumping.
Gotta get the flow.
Jumping.
And consider becoming a member.
Because what? I like the way you said the vibe.
We got the membership vibes going on.
Membership vibes.
Don't bring out some Barry White right now. You got the membership vibes and. All right. Anyway, let's move on. Let's get into this.
I thought you were about to put it on. Go ahead.
I can't do that. All right. So they're having a intense fellowship, which is our word for argument. Not a full-blown argument, but they're having a disagreement because Alexis is like, I want to go out. I want to hit the clubs up. I want to get turned. And Justice is like, we married now. We's mad now. I don't want my wife in the clubs every weekend. And so around that time, Dr. Pia, who's standing outside eavesdropping, she listening. She like come in. She knocks on the door finally, and it's like, what's going on in here? I done heard all this screaming and arguing and all this commotion, all this ruckus. Ruckus. What's going on?
Ooh. And as he indicates, well, she's going out every weekend. And he keeps using the word club. Now, Alexis says, well, sometimes we go to brunch.
Yep.
It's not always the club. Just trying to stay, balance here for both parties. And she's like, we go to brunch sometimes, and it's only about maybe 2 hours.
But some brunches can be clubs, because we got a couple here that we see them on Instagram. They be doing electric slide while the
considered a club scene.
The mimosas is rolling out. And
there's different when there's lounging and you sitting at a table eating.
I'm just saying.
So the vibe is different.
It is, yes.
Yeah. So, okay, granted, she want to spend time out with her friends. And so they're trying to, I feel like you got to give more content because like before she even arrived, he was saying, well, why does it have to be every weekend? It needs to be balanced.
Right.
And she was like, well, I'm only doing a couple hours. It's not like
She's not gone all night.
She's not gone all night.
She's not sleeping at her friend's couch.
She's not sleeping on her friend's. That's what she's saying. Right. She's not sleeping on her friend's couch. And she was like, you never said anything about you wanted me to be home. So it sounds like he didn't really communicate
his expectations.
Or them just setting some boundaries. Like,
right.
Why can't he go with her sometime? Like I'm saying, like, he can see what's going on. He can see who the friends are, whatever.
And she's saying she doesn't want to feel smothered.
Right.
She's like, okay, I'm with you out of 168 days out of the week. Yes, I work, but all the other time, I'm with you.
Right. Because we're taping, I think probably too, they're taping a lot.
Exactly.
And so they have to be like together, or she has to come directly home or something. So I think some of those things can be affecting it as well.
True.
So then we're sitting down with the doctor.
Yes. And so then there's the conversation about whether, she wants the single life or the married life. And then she said that the time with her friends brings her joy, and that him having an issue with it is essentially controlling and manipulative. Because she brings up the vows, and she's like, in the vows, you said you wanted me to be free. And she's like, okay, give us free and let me go to the club or go to brunch or go wherever I want to go with my friends. He's like, that ain't what I meant. I ain't mean you just be out gallivanting, turning up. Because she also is like, this ain't turning up. She's like, I could turn up every day if I wanted to.
Oh, yeah, because she indicated, she's like, well, maybe you don't understand from me, my lifestyle. I was gone all the time. Every night. Like, she's like, I could stay up all night and go to work. No problem.
Yep.
because I still got them young vibes.
Yeah.
You know, so, and he's like, oh, well, I could stay home.
Yeah.
So the doctor's there and trying to ask her, well, why do you feel like you have to go out every Saturday, every weekend? And then she gives that reason. He was like, is you sure? Is that everything? Is that the main reason?
Now, one thing that I did watch part of the after party, one thing Alexis did mention is that Justin doesn't really have friends in San Diego. Most of his peoples is back, I guess, in Alabama or wherever. Oh. So he doesn't really have a lot of homies, if you will.
Gotcha.
And so that also can be part of what it is, because if she has her girls, they're going out, they're just hanging out. If he doesn't have anyone that he goes and hangs out with, yes, it is going to feel like my wife has left me, my wife has abandoned me.
Right.
Because you are approaching life in really, and to be honest, in two different ways as far as your friendship circle and
right.
You know, who you hang around with.
Right.
So.
Right. Well, and then also, but my thing is, and we've learned this by going to counseling, having family counseling. Our counselors don't make the person the bad guy.
Right.
And I feel like the question that the doctor was asking was kind of making Justin the bad guy and putting him in a negative light of why she was going out.
Yeah.
Now, does everyone need their time away?
Absolutely.
You know, because I feel like a better question for her is like, what do you gain going out every weekend if Justin doesn't have any place to go or nobody around to hang out with? So what does that help you? Does it help you relieve stress? Kind of asking her, what's the gain? Because people do things to gain something. So I'd ask her, like, well, what do you gain out of leaving these 2 hours? Does it help you to refuel to be able to be there in your marriage? Because if Justin could hear that it could be positive to your marriage, then it could help. Because what Alexis says, which I agree with, well, we keep going back and forth, and then you're going down this rabbit hole that opening up other things, but we haven't even resolved this issue. Because she's like, well, maybe I should plan and go every other weekend. And I was like, bingo.
She's like, I haven't heard a compromise being suggested. So this doctor, I'm not taking away her doctor's credentials, I'm just saying, I said it in a previous video, I will say it again. I'm not that impressed with this doctor as far as her ability to effectively coach these couples.
Let me do this. I'm going to say
do it.
Her process, how she decides to approach the couples. Yeah. I don't feel like it's a way that's, because these are not couples who've been married a long time.
These are strangers. And some of her approach, I feel like she's coaching or counseling long-term married people
that have been married a long time, that have a lot of history together.
Yeah.
And so I think I don't care for her approach in it.
Okay.
Because it's more like, I got to stay on task because this week you're supposed to be handling this.
That's good.
Right? Where I've seen Dr. Pepper, what she does, she acknowledges what they were supposed to talk about. She's like, hey guys, I know that I came here to discuss this with you, but this has seemed more pressing that we can't get to that because we need to resolve this first. Yeah. And so she listens to what both parties are saying and making sure both parties are hearing each other. Because when Alexis was talking, he hears, well, I just want to hang out or one of this. When Justin was talking about it, she hears, I'm not a good wife. And he's like, no, that's not what I'm saying. Yeah. He's saying, no, this is not what I'm saying. Yeah. And so Dr. Pepper is really good about saying, okay, I hear you, allow him to talk, allow her to talk. Now she puts it together and put it in language from her perspective. So Justin, this is what you're getting out of it. Can we agree to where we are on understanding this? Now what's going to be the solution of that? So
basically then it comes to the question, okay, what was your expectations of being married? And then were you ready to be married? And Alexis she gives an honest statement. I can't say that it's not an honest statement, but just the phrasing and how it was put was kind of bad. Because she basically was like, I'm not sure that I was ready. She's like, she wasn't sure if she was ready to be married to Justin. And he's like, well, hold up now, because I was about to make you beneficiary. I was about to add you to all my insurance. Lindy over there trying to get her own insurance, and I was about to put you on my insurance. You was about to be a beneficiary of my policies and all of that.
Right.
And so he's like, I don't want to be treated as an option.
Right.
Right. So then she's like, because he's like, I don't know that you really bring the same energy that he brings. And she's like, you know, with everything that's happened, she brings up the dog again, the issue with the dog being attacked. And
because she's like, because, like, you know, I love my dog and stuff. So if I wouldn't stay because of my dog, but then the counselor makes a good point. Well, okay, I hear you loved him and that this issue happened, but he has no dog.
Right.
His dog is gone. Would you have done the same thing for him if it was the reverse? Yeah. Because he's made some changes. And then he goes, yeah, and you never asked me how I felt about losing my dog.
Yeah, well, that was a little later that he asked her that.
Right.
But yeah, so she also, you know, says, you know, when can I be Alexis and say that she's exhausted, right? And with all of that, Justin slips off his ring.
Yeah, and he puts it down there. And she was like, okay, let's talk about this. Because they keep escalating. It's like, we got to one-up each other.
It's kind of tit for tat.
Right. So then he puts this like, so what does that mean? Well, she don't want to be married to me, blah, blah, blah. And you're hurt by this. Yes. Right. Okay, now does that hurt her? You know, what's the reason for this? And so they're trying to work through that. And it was like, I was like, is the doctor helping make more? Or are we cleaning up as we go along? Because to me, I was like, this doesn't seem like the right person to be canceling y'all. Because it just seemed like it got more muddier as they talked.
She wasn't pouring like straight gasoline on the fire, but she was putting like some rubbing alcohol on it. So it was like, it was
on the wound.
It was sparking up little flames, because it was like this thing that could have been, in my opinion, been resolved by saying, okay, what's the compromise here, right? You both want to be together. You're just saying you need some time away. You're saying you like being with her. So how can we find a compromise that works for both of you to get both of your needs met?
Because the first question I would ask, well, so what do you do? Do you never go out? Because you have to understand, like, you're talking about her going out. Okay, well, do you ever go out?
Right.
Who do you hang around? Because I would want to know on balance side, are you hanging out, but you have a problem with just her? And then she would have found out, oh, well, could be some, you know, like some of your issue be because you don't have nobody here.
Right.
You don't have nothing to do, you know. And one thing they never even got it around to, which I would think also would have been a good thing if they stuck to that one conflict, is, okay, also let's think about how can you create new couple relationships.
Yeah.
So that all of y'all can go out on Saturday like that. You know, granted, we know you're in this stream right now, you're in this television, and you can't really do what you want to.
Right.
But y'all need to start considering, hey, what are the friends that you have? Or, you know, I don't know where his brother live, or finding couples that they could go out with. This could also assist in this area where you're feeling you're having a hard time. Yeah.
Because it's, for him, the other question is, and the other thing I would point out is that I would be concerned by any person who kind of finds their entire being in their spouse or their partner. And in some respects, it's like almost, it can be smothering if it's like every moment we've got to be together, right? If there's not a moment that she can just have her friends and go out, because he needs that as well, right?
I think if he had that and it was around him, you know, then and maybe outside of this setting of the television, where you can make those interactions.
But she did also say a little later that she did invite him, and he did not want to go. She did invite him to go out one night, and he was like, "No, I'd rather just stay home and watch TV, or I'm more of a homebody." So it's like, even when she is making the effort to include him into her world, one, so that he can see that maybe there's nothing for him to worry about, but also that now, yes, we can spend time at home, but also I like to go out. I like to turn up. So let's go turn up for a night, right? And so that was a mistake, I think, on his part for not taking her up on that,
right,
and just simply going out.
Right. And guess what? Sometimes you're not going to want to go out. But you can't fault the person who's not going to stay behind because you don't want to go out.
Right.
Because he needs to really communicate. Because I think the doctor did say, well, are you communicating what you want? Because it sounds like you don't want to be rejected. So you don't say anything.
Yep.
Because he could have been saying no because he wanted her to choose him and stay in. Potentially.
Possibly.
And that's where she comes to the point feeling like it's manipulation. Because you're saying one thing, but you're not really meaning it.
Right.
You're using it for something else.
Yep.
So, again, I think all couples go through the point where they're saying the same thing, but they just don't know how to express it.
And have that communication barrier.
And be mindful, like, look, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, but I done seen you, and we done take 10 hours a day. And I do need a break. I've asked you to come with me.
I get that.
And, keep reminding them, like, look, I did ask you to come with me.
Yeah.
Now, if you wanted me to stay home, say that. But don't say, I need to stay home because I'm married.
Right.
That's not correct.
The answer. Yeah. So yeah, she talks about, that they have two different versions of fun. She questions if she knows him and if he has her back. Right. And he says he just feels that she does not get him. So then a little later they have their romance,
right,
intimate type of assignment, right?
Yeah.
And she bring out the pole.
I was like, do you just rent a pole? You rent a pole and say I need a pole? Like,
well, let's find out what that is. Let's get that number.
Probably call a party store. Maybe you call a party store.
Find a party store.
Find a party store.
Right in the living room.
Right. Oh, love a son come home and see a pole in the middle of our living room. Okay. He'd be like, y'all.
He'd be like, he might be like, look, I'm moving out. I'm good. I'll find a place.
We digress. So, but I was like, what a great idea. Here again, she's like, I do want to show him. I am into him. I want to spark something. And what did that fool do? I did say that. What did that fool do? Right after the pole dance, he wants to do a blindfold and do questions.
Bruh.
You should have did those questions first.
You can still blindfold, but don't be asking questions. Just.
I was like, why? Why are we doing this? She said specifically, I want to have a fun night. I want to just
maybe spark some things.
Because
they still have not consummated their relationship.
Correct. I really want to spark some things. And maybe it's just some sexual tension. Oh, boy. When you can resolve some sexual tension after being mad, my God, today, the Lord is in it. And for you to say that, where you at? Where you at, bro? Where you at, bro? Every brother who's been looking at that be like, man, you missed your cue.
Listen, there are times to think with your head, and then there's other times to think differently.
Think with your other head. I'll say
Yep.
it. And I was like, he was wrong. I'm so sorry. He rather got stuff out of his chest instead of being able to get what really was going on. Because she said it. She's like, I think there's just some sexual tension.
Yep.
I just want to have fun. I think we can be able to resolve this. But nah.
So the thing I get from him is that he's so emotional. Emotions drive him. And so what she had said earlier still is playing with his mind and his emotions. So when they do the blindfold thing, she's got the blindfold on, and he's just like,
oh, he threw up on her.
Oh yeah, he just full on vomited on her. Because he was like, now one thing he did say that you kind of alluded to earlier, he's kind of frustrated that she's not asked about how he's dealing with giving up his dog, because he's like, if the roles were reversed, he's like, I'd be checking in with you because I know how important your dog was to you. So yes, I'll give him right conversation, wrong time. And I think that kind of gave her the reason that she gave her answer, because I think her answer was kind of like, I'm almost done, because she's like, I'm an amazing woman, I'm this, I'm that. It almost felt like she was breaking up with him when she gave her comments. I don't know if you felt that.
I didn't feel that. I think she had to reassure herself who she was, because even though he says he's like, I'm gonna start with some good things, and then he just vomit on her.
Yeah.
And she's like, let me just reassure myself who I am. Since I gotta wipe this off.
Who I am. Yeah.
I have to wipe this off.
Did you roll your eyes at me?
I was like, what are you saying?
You rolled your eyes at me. Wow.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
Anywho, ain't the first time. And so, so she tried to wipe this off of her. I was just like, and he's like, oh, it feels so good.
Yeah, he's like, oh, that felt good. Dude,
I was like,
you could have been feeling better.
A lot better. And then you could have been easier, because then when you're relaxed, those are the best conversations.
Yes.
After having,
yes.
For all those who don't understand, after having sex, you can have the best conversations. That's what we're referring to. You can have the best conversation, and guess what? People so chill, you can pretty much say anything then to an extent.
Right.
But you would feel like it's coming from a better place.
Right.
Because we've been able to remove some of that tension.
And I think, and she makes a statement, I forgot where she made it, but she makes a statement essentially like, I'm not your opposition. And that's kind of, I think, if they could break down this barrier, it'll help them to both see that they're not each other's opposition, that they can be in this together.
And that's the thing couples have to learn. I really do have your best interest at heart. Now, did I say it wrong? Did it come off wrong? Yep, it did.
Yep.
It did. But again, even for us, that took us years to realize that we
Absolutely.
really want the best for each other.
Yep.
I'm saying this because I love you. I'm saying this because I want to see the best in you.
Yep.
And I don't know how to say it. You're just frustrating me. And I don't know how to get you to move.
The living daylights out of me.
I don't even get you to move.
Yeah.
So.
Especially when you roll your eyes at me.
Not know. It just didn't make sense. I didn't even know the song. But I'm assuming everybody else knew the song.
No, it was a gospel song. All right. Anyway. All right.
Yeah.
So then, listen. Y'all know sometimes I'm just thinking music, and sometimes it just pops out wrong and random and off key. But that's what we do here. So anyway, they go. She talks with the ladies. He talks with the fellas. And as they're talking, as he's talking to the fellas, Nate starts asking questions like, she in this? She here for real? It's like, she was over there snitching on everybody. I'm trying to see what her energy is. And Justin's like, yeah, I'll be trying to make things happen, but she don't match my energy. She kind of just lay there and stare off into space. I'm mad at that end, but that's kind of the energy that he gave as far as what's happening. So then they come back to the apartment, and production's like, whoa, we gonna have to step in, because they started getting a little elevated.
Yeah, voices
was raised. They was about to get a noise complaint, and they was like, we don't need 5-0 to show up here.
Right.
And so they go in. Alexis is in the bathroom. Justin's moving clothes around or something. He's doing it. And so they're trying to, again, get to the issue. And one of the things that Justin says, again, is he's like, the energy is not reciprocated. He's like, I don't think she's attracted to me. He actually said that with the fellas. He's like, I don't think she's really attracted to me. And he's like, I'm questioning things now. I'm questioning whether or not this is going to be legit. He's like, because according to him, he's bringing the energy. But if he brings the energy the same way he did after the pole dancing, you're not really bringing energy, bro. You're bringing the wrong energy. So if you, and I think, okay, I think he needs the confidence, because if he's always trying to check in and see how she's feeling, check in how she is, again, that emotion, driven by emotion, he'll never move past that, because he's always there's an insecurity that he feels, in my opinion.
Because even with the blindfold, you sure that's everything? There's nothing else you want to say?
You gonna pinky swear? Dude, just...
I'm like, you're gonna have to trust what they say. Like, hey, I'm just letting you know, I'm just checking in, and I'm gonna trust that what you're saying right now, that's all you want to say, and let it go.
And here's the thing. If you're in the marriage for the long haul, at some point, it'll be said.
Oh, yeah, it'll come back up.
It'll come back up.
It'll come back up.
We've had times where it's like, I'm done. And then a couple of days later, okay.
No, this is how it go. What's wrong?
Nothing.
Something wrong? No. No, nothing wrong. Give me about 6 hours.
6 hours. All right, so can we talk?
Right. I knew something was wrong.
So if you're needing a response right there in that moment, you're hardly ever going to get it.
Because you got to process
right how I'm feeling, and you also part of maturity is knowing you want to kind of make sure you don't say something that you will regret and that you can't take back.
Exactly.
And that's another thing, as far as just when you have those intense discussions and fellowships, having enough maturity to say, you know what, it's best if we not talk right now. Because if I say something now,
I'm going to say something wrong.
So let's take a moment. Let's take a breather. Let me get my thoughts together, and then we can have the conversation.
And you have to trust that you're going to have that conversation. You're going to allow the person the time. You're going to trust that they're going to come back to it.
Because if you keep pressing, you're going to get a whole lot said.
It is like he did. Blah.
Yep.
Don't make you feel better.
So my hopes for this couple are really going down.
Ooh.
Really.
You know,
I think she's not saying it, but I think she's done.
Yeah, she stopped saying she's done. Again, anything can be saved.
True.
If we can get beyond ourselves. Because if they had enough opportunity for the backstory, right? If they had, say they had a year, and then they come to this rough spot, something to make it through.
Right.
I think the only thing about when you're talking about this show, and it's like people feel like I am going to stay in it because I don't want a divorce.
Right.
But the thing is, if your mindset is I still have 8 weeks to decide, it's still easier for them to divorce.
Yep.
I feel like the couples that we've met, people that we've talked to, people I've even seen on TV or whatever, as long as the D word was not allowed, divorce to be said or done, unless you were really done and you made up your mind
it's
that
like
divorce was
a loaded weapon. Once you bring it out,
divorce is not a solution for that couple. It'll last.
Yep.
But when you still have the option in 8 weeks, yeah, I can see it both ways. Because they have to hold on to what was at the beginning. Because last, like Justin was like, I was thinking what made us so happy at the very beginning.
Y'all ain't know each other. And y'all ain't have life hitting you.
Right. And it was kind of like a fairy tale, right? The wedding.
It's a honeymoon.
It's a honeymoon time. But if the feelings were true, like, wow, I'm excited about this person. I'm finding out all this great stuff about the person.
Yep.
That stuff is still in there. You just got to be able to get through everything else that comes with
the stuff that you found out. You got to dig back and find that treasure. So, all right, listen, that's it for this couple. Let us know what your thoughts are. Let us know if we miss anything. And we'll see you next time. Have a great one. Be blessed.